We're back. It is the Fancy Rugby Yanks. Yeah, I hope you all missed this. It is the Fancy Rugby Yanks. My name is Jared Dyke.
I'm Ben Glauser.
I really hope that you guys are ready for a season because we have a lot to go through here. This is gonna be primarily us catching up on everything we didn't talk about over the last few months. So that's why it's a dedicated one pod. So we're not doing anything else. Nothing else. Yeah. Okay, so if you're here for Prem shit, next week.
Future rugby will be in the future.
Yes, yeah, we'll do that. In the meanwhile, I'm thirsty, so let's drink.
Don't have to ask me twice.
So if you are so inclined, because you guys know we love a beer, you're gonna have a chance to donate to our beverage fund. We're gonna be starting some form of Patreon format here. Not most of the stuff you usually hear us talk about, you'll still get. Don't worry about that.
Right.
It's next level shit that we're aiming for now.
Right.
Because hey, if we're not getting better, or if we're not trying to get better, well, then what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, I was thinking about tracking some of the stuff, and I thought, you know what, maybe somebody might pay me to do some of this. So it's like, hey, look, we're gonna have a bunch more statistical analysis for those who follow us on the Twitters every so often. I don't think it's every Friday when we post our starts and sits, but every so often we'll post your scores, the team defenses, and so you can have
points against,
right, points against by position, things like your position group.
Mm-hmm.
That's like that. I mean, there's going to be that, but
there's
going to be
scratching the surface, right?
That's scratching the surface. There's going to be a whole bunch of other stuff. I don't want to start promising it yet. I'm still proving it all out, but we will do something with Patreon for this season. They'll give you some, not expensive, but a beer or so here or there.
Yeah, that's all we appreciate. That's all we want. everything
insight
after
that you won't find anywhere else.
Yeah. So, we have that. And if you hate us enough that you don't want to buy us a beer, buy our friend George a coffee, because he's always worth the damn thing. He does great content on his website, and if you are paying attention this year, you are likely to end up somewhere in a final somewhere. I promise.
Mm-hmm.
TRM upgrades, make sure you grab those, because those are going to be handy, especially with bye weeks in the Premiership this year. Like, pay the hell attention. Okay, right. You cannot coast through this one this year. You gotta freaking pay attention to that stuff, and TRM is definitely going to help you there. So please get yourself an upgrade and do those guys a favor. I think they're still putting stuff towards RPA, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong about that. I don't know. They did last year, so I presume they do this year, but beats the shit out of me. I don't know nothing. As always, Black Lives Matter on this podcast, and there is no room for racism. And fucking hell, I mean,
did you see the
Marcus Smith and Maro Itoje cross up? Like, you
Marcus
can't
Rashford.
get more. Sorry, Jesus, I just did it too. Sorry.
Well, you want to talk about, everyone wants to talk about Marcus Smith too. So
and I'm a Marcus Rashford fan, so I feel really embarrassed having just done that. But the Marcus Rashford and Maro Itoje cross up, like, they don't look a thing alike. They really don't. Like, that's bad. Like that is just, there's so many things wrong on so many levels that can go very deep, and needless to say that this guy's a complete fuckhead, but that's not a new thing. It sounds like that's not a new thing.
I mean, I think it was, I think it was known. It was just,
he just outed himself as one now. Good job, dumbass.
Like, I'm going to show on my ass again.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people have been doing that nowadays.
Right.
So none of that shit.
We try not to.
Yeah. And, rewind the clock all the way back to Euros, and the poor kids that caught a shitload of fucking, abuse online. Like, what the fuck, people? New rule. Here's a new rule. If you can't do the thing that you want to abuse somebody about, 9 times out of 10, shut up.
Right.
Shut up. Okay. If you can't walk out on that pitch and score that penalty, shut up.
Right.
Okay. End. I don't want to hear it. Okay, so you can feel upset. You can yell at the TV all you want, but you don't go sending people shit and tagging people and bullshit like that. That's just
right.
Oh, God, you could not be more juvenile.
Because I guarantee you, they feel worse than you do. So
100%. There's nobody that feels worse on this planet than those guys after that one. Trust me. Although I can't say I was sad, because Chiellini was a fun guy to watch, the Italian captain. So I feel bad for the England fans, but man, he if somebody else deserved it, he seemed to be the one right there. Okay. Good news. Our second tier of Champions League is full. Thank you guys, everybody that decided to join on Join on Bob, Terry, Lianu, Kobus, John, Yuri, Larry, and Franco. Welcome.
Thank you all.
Welcome. Hang on to your seats.
Yeah, it'll be a fun year.
Yeah, it's gonna be a year. It's gonna be a year. So we obviously talked about
once FRD starts.
Yeah,
whenever that might be.
Pull their head. Talk about pulling your head out of your ass. Obviously, we've just teased a little bit about what's going on this season, but also you're not going to listen to us once, but twice this year, because we are going to do one ep where we just talk about games and what happened in the world and all that good stuff. And then we're going to do one ep. If you are just here to listen to us babble about fantasy bullshit, that'll be your episode right there. Okay. We'll drop one day and we'll drop one the next. So just keep your eyes and ears posted to your feeds wherever you get your podcasts. So that's the plans for us. And they should be a little more digestible, hopefully 45 minutes.
Right. 45-minute segments instead
that'll
of
be
an hour, 15-minute full pod.
Yeah. We can get more information out and not bore you to tears.
Right.
That's the general aim, at least out here. I'm definitely not aiming to bore anybody to tears. I can do it very well if I want to, but I don't plan on doing it. Let's put it that way. Okay. We'll get to the particular summer tours, but let's get to other summer tours that we missed. You want to start with like France and Australia? I thought that was a very good series that was played. French showed a lot considering who was left at home. So while Australia were very happy and deservedly so with taking the series, I think everybody needs to remember that there was so much missing from that French team, and it should be terrifying what they had.
And what they still brought anyway is scary.
Yep.
They have so many players like that's, but they're prepping to host a World Cup, and they want to pull a Tampa Bay Bucks because who doesn't win a ship at home?
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
Hopefully I win a bet off them this year.
Nice. Like the French have so much going for them, and it's crazy to think of. I mean, it isn't. It is because it's French. It's so schizophrenic. So it's like you have this. They're good, but then they go French on you for like a match here or there, as they do in Six Nations and all that. So like you still have to expect that, but the talent and the play is so much better. Like bringing in that structure has improved them so much, and it doesn't like that. I really want people to understand and coaches to get that just because you have a structure doesn't mean you lose the freewheeling and freelancing. If anything, it helps it out because someone's going to be in a specific spot. And as the French players get used to doing that and still being, having that quote French flair, which I just think is they make fun passes.
Yeah. They just chuck the ball around a little bit sometimes.
Right. It's that much better. So I really, instead of throwing it, hey, maybe there's someone there, I'll just throw the pass there. It's someone's job to be right there. So they fucking better be there.
Yeah. Consequently, there is one glaring thing that's come up both for Australia during that and during their recent matches is the hooker position. They are in dire need of somebody to step up because I can't say I've been impressed with anybody that's gone there. For Australia. So
it seems to be a widespread problem now.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's becoming a down season, a downtime for hookers. It's not the golden age of, and it's weird because it's like the same hook. It's not the hookers really haven't changed all that much.
No, those well, especially for them, those have been the same. 3-4 guys that have rotated through. Although Lockie Lonergan is a new one, but that's about it. He's the only new blood to that position for them.
Right, but if we look like around the world, I mean, Rory Best retired. That's huge. But even the Irish hookers aren't really the best in the line out and shit. Like it's just, I feel like it's everywhere. It's a little bit. If the first team that actually, or country that can actually grow some real hookers will have a significant advantage. Nobody can fucking throw a line out anymore. It seems.
No, it seems to be a lost art at this point. It's really terrifying. It's like,
and it's crazy to think about that because so many tries come off of. I think more tries come off of lineouts than scrums, right? So
I believe so. Yeah.
Like you need that all starts with the throw. right? You can have the best lift, and you should at that point, at that level. The lift should never be a problem with that level of players, and the ability, the ball handling ability, to pop it off the top, shit like that. You got to get the throw, and they just don't do it.
No. So then we had we had the All Blacks and Fiji and Samoa, and there was a little bit of shithousery going on in that one, but I thought the Fijians did themselves a service with the games that they played. Man, but it's their usual problem. They have a hard time putting together 23 players.
Yeah.
So, that's the unfortunate part of that, and putting together 80 minutes at that. So
yeah, right.
So fingers crossed that gets over the line someday.
Yeah. At least they weren't playing the best team in the world. Oh, wait
a minute. Hey, also take that with what that's worth, because it's it's right there. It's New Zealand. It's not nobody by any means whatsoever. And then up in the Northern Hemisphere, we had a couple of North American teams jaunt over to the Euros. The US acquitted themselves once quite well. Second time, not so much. But yeah, and the one thing I loved about the England performance was Gary Gould's press conference afterwards, where he was enthusiastic, he was optimistic, but he was also very realistic, and he wanted more. He wants more. He always demands more of this team. Whether or not they give it to him is a different story. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, like there was a lot that I loved. Even guys there were a lot of guys that stepped up that I was like, he's useful. That's good. Didn't know that was a thing.
Right.
But we saw the one like glaring weakness in that team at headquarters was freaking Mike Teo. Like, what the hell? He at least cost us 2, if not 3 tries.
Yeah,
without doubt.
He's not good.
No, he's not. And anybody that can, how we got to be MLR Player of the Year, I haven't got the slightest clue.
If I know, that doesn't make any sense. But
no, doesn't at all.
People, I'm sure he's a likable guy, and he's he can be fun to watch when he's doing something good, but that's so fucking rare.
Yeah, it's usually on attack too.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
But defense, it's a problem.
But even in attack, he holds the ball like a loaf of bread and loses it and shit like that. He does stupid stuff. Like, he might be talented, but he does things that only bad rugby players do.
Let's change that, shall we?
Yeah.
So I liked, and there's a lot to like about what England did too. There was some great performance put in. Obviously, we saw Marcus Rashford finally get his first cap. God's sake, that was way too long coming.
Did you do it again?
What did I do?
Now you called Marcus Smith Marcus Rashford.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh shit, Marcus. Look at me. Oh man, I am so fucked up. We're off to a false start here. We're off to a great start here.
Hey, look, at least you're consistent. You're getting the guys in the sport, the same guys in the two sports, completely flipped.
Crossing them up. But yeah. Marcus Smith. Sorry, Jesus, Mary and Joseph. God help us all.
What a year he had. What a month he had.
Yeah, it's true. From Prem
what a year he had in a month.
Yeah, right. From Premiership final to, even that rewind it back to that semifinal that he led, right. and then going all the way to the Lions tour. Pretty ridiculous. So yeah, that was pretty absurd to say the least. And then
good to see him get a cap and
yeah,
first of many, just keep him there. It's not that fucking hard.
Please. And unfortunately for the Canadians, we pissed them off because they had already taken a tonking over in Wales. And then they came over to England, and England were angry because Eddie Jones was not happy especially after that second half that the US put in. I think we won the second half, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
In that match. So yes, Eddie Jones was not happy, and he made it very clear to his England team that they shouldn't be either. And they took it out on poor old Canada. Canada took a couple of tonkings over in Europe, but that's that happens. That'll happen sometimes, and they didn't bring a whole lot in terms of the European contingent. 99% of their team was from MLR.
Right.
So that didn't helps those players in their careers and their experience, but in terms of performance on the field in those two matches, it was not.
You're not going to win those even with your overseas guys anyway, if you're Canada. So absolutely the right decision. Let these guys, get blooded literally.
Quite.
Get
Yeah,
the
a couple of them
shit kicked out
definitely.
you.
A
Yeah,
couple of them definitely.
get the shit kicked out of you and learn from it. That's much better than having guys who know what it's like.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's always cool to play for your country. It's amazing. But if they're not available, then okay, move forward with the guys you have, because
Mhm.
you're gonna be depending on those guys anyway
Yeah.
in the
Couple
World
years
Cup,
here. Yeah, I
assuming you
agree.
make it, which I guess they almost
We'll see.
they
Yeah,
pretty
we'll
much
talk
have
about
to.
that a little bit. So let's move on to the unfortunate event that was the Lions tour. And I will be the first to say there is no one coach that takes the blame right here. There is a coaching issue in this series across the board for both
Yep.
teams.
Yeah.
No question about it. Lions, Gatlin all the way down. Freaking South Africa, same thing. Like,
Yeah.
come on, man. Like, both teams. This was ugly rugby, and it was both teams' fault.
Yeah, and it's like I get, like, that's not a series I would be proud of winning. Like, either side, if either side had won that last match, it's not.
Flush it.
Yeah, I'm just glad it's over.
Same.
I get that, you win, but if you don't put out a product that fans can watch, and you know what, I will say this, it is not. I'm coming to the conclusion that it really isn't South Africa's fault for the most part. It's fucking, they have this hypnosis that they do on these teams. Like, so Gatlin, he he kicks ass. The team goes out and whips ass when they play an open, when they play something open, but then they just go into the shell and then they lose. And it's like, well, how about you learn what works? Like, fucking New Zealand tonking South Africa in the World Cup, not by playing that. Everyone, that style, that tight up, we're going to do one up hit and then box kick it and hope for the best. They go out and they just play open, expansive rugby and win. And then ever since then, everybody else has tightened up and not played that style. And it's like, why wouldn't you do the thing that wins rather than I'm gonna make it it's a 50-50 proposition if you have that talent like England and the Lions do, and they don't do it. Like, you have this gift, use it, because they're not that good on defense when you get it wide,
right,
on the long haul.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think New Zealand necessarily kicked the shit out of South Africa and Japan, but they did beat them in the pool
I thought
play.
they beat them pretty handily.
No, it was 10 points maybe.
Okay, I thought it was
maybe
more.
Oh no, 20. It was not. It was a fairly close match. But yes,
okay.
They, South Africa have the best winning percentage over New Zealand of any team, but New Zealand still beat them pretty handily usually when they do. And I would say New Zealand's probably the most successful team against South Africa. So there's that. So yeah, it was not in, there's people out there that are very good at spinning a lot of things into positives. They had nothing for this. Had nothing for this. And I was just like, that pretty much tells me everything you need to know. I don't care about the numbers and what they say, try scored, points scored. The eye test did not pass. Simple as that.
And you need to put on, like, look, this summer in across the board, rugby is not. Oh, okay, except for the Olympics. We'll get to that. But
yeah,
outside of that, rugby has looked terrible, and it's not getting better. This whole Pro 12s thing, whatever. Like, everything, it's all getting silly and stupid. And then we get to the fucking. I don't want to touch the Razzie Erasmus thing.
No.
At all.
Everybody should know the thoughts, and if it's a mystery, you can ask us.
The thing is, he had, like, he there is a point to be made that around what he was saying, but it wasn't the point he was making, and it wasn't the way it was being made. It was there is inconsistency, and we'll get to the Jordy Barrett thing a little later too, and that shows more. But that's not, and there's definitely inconsistency between whether, in the northern hemisphere, when a pass goes forward, they call it forward. In the southern hemisphere, play on.
Not so much. Yeah.
In the northern hemisphere, if you get a tackle up above the shoulder, it's an automatic penalty. If there's force and all that, yellow, red. In the southern hemisphere, if you don't kill the guy, it's not even a penalty. It's
barely a penalty. Yeah.
Like, there are terrible inconsistencies with the way it's managed. But you also know, going into a match, who's reffing it and what that means, right? If you have a French referee, what does that mean? Well, the breakdown's pretty much wide the fuck open.
Yep.
And don't, make sure you're on his good side of the scrum early, because then he'll be fine with you for the most part. You'll get the calls. Like, and there's and expect him to just shit the bed at a meaningful moment, but make sure you're on the good side of it, not the bad. You know that. So play to it, right? Don't say, oh, I don't like this penalty. Yes, you're not going to, but that's the way the game is. Every union, every country has their own style of play, and the referees play to it and fucking deal with it. But the way to do it was not to whine, oh, I didn't like these calls against my team. Okay, well then fuck off. It's
no shit, dude. Yeah, if it's a safety concern, it's one thing. If it's just
I don't like this. Yeah, well, then don't fucking like it. You don't have to.
Off. You don't have to. You're just gonna have to live with it.
So yeah,
we all do.
It's just, but he pointed out he tried to point, and he claims to be pointing out an issue that actually needs to be pointed out that he failed to point out. So yeah, we need to see some consistency, but just to put out an hour-long bitch fest that I listened to I
God help you.
Gave him the respect he didn't deserve of listening to the whole fucking thing. And just like, at no point was I like, this is compelling. Like, what point did you think this was a good idea? Like, so like probably about 10 minutes into that, I'd feel so embarrassed for myself that I would just like turn the camera off and never speak of the idea again. But it just went on.
Yeah. So it was. So yes. Flush this Lions tour. We'll all look forward to Australia.
Get the fuck out.
And I hope the coach is not anybody that was on either staff, and none of them deserve it. So fuck that.
Pat Lam.
Yeah, bring him in, please. Take that. Okay. Let's go to the Olympics. The Olympics in general, it was fantastic rugby. There's no argument about that. Unfortunately for the US, it was a lot of disappointment for many reasons. I felt like the girls were put into a position that they shouldn't have been with their coaching. And then I felt like the boys played a little bit too much selfish rugby.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
Yes, so. I agree. It was the US team I mean, I feel like both teams finished where they deserved to finish.
Yeah. In the end. And it's not like, it's not to say they were, good or bad. It's just that's where they ranked. Like, it was not a, they weren't the best team there. They were, could have been one of the better teams, and they could have performed better, but they didn't. But that's okay. This was a great tournament. This was a lot of extremely good teams. There's no shame in finishing outside of the medals and whatnot. It happens. And, you go there for the experience too. That's really that was the win, and it really was good rugby. It was such it was so great to have like a chaser right around the time of this Lions tour. Yeah.
So to watch these guys play and the ladies play and really just leave it all out there and put on an entertaining show. Every match you just you sat there and watched it, and it's not like you're like, sometimes when you watch sports, you kind of want to, you flip around when you're on the these were compelling matches, every single one. So yeah, great tournament. Fun to watch.
Lots of fun. Our girl, Chrissy Kirsch, grabbed a few.
Yes, she did.
I think my neighbors were like, what the fuck is this guy yelling at? Because I was yelling when she got that first break. I was like, go!
Right.
And then the second one she scored at the tournament, she decided she was scoring, and there was nobody that was going to stop her. I was like, she decided she's taking this to the house, and there was nothing to do.
I really appreciate that about some of the best. So she came to rugby out of the blue, 3 years ago,
something like that. Yeah, she's just an athlete,
and she's one of the and she just has taken to it to like a fish to water. It just makes sense for her, which is awesome to watch. And she's so talented, and she's strong. So it's like, she can beat you in any way. She can step you, she can burn you, or she can run you over. And that's a fucking rugby player right there.
And I will say, to her credit, she was a good role model for some of the girls that I coach, because she actually did a little sevens and touch with them while the pandemic was kind of winding down, or at least while the lockdowns were starting to wind down. So, and they love her. So
Good.
Sounds like she set a good example. So I'm proud to call Christy Kirsch a Boston girl, and we're happy to have her for sure. Okay, MLR finish. The team we all thought would win is won it. No shock.
Wow. Shock.
No shock.
I am
0% shock. I mean, man, I thought if there was a team that could beat the Guiltinis, it was probably going to be Bruni, but I knew they were going to have to get past Atlanta in Atlanta, and I wasn't overly convinced that was going to happen. And sure enough, it didn't. And as soon as Atlanta was the one that got in the final, really, I think Utah probably had, of the 4 teams in the play, or the 3 other teams in the playoffs, they had the best chance to beat those guys. And nope, didn't do it. Certain someone on Utah was at fault again for giving up I
can't imagine who that might have been.
The clinching try.
Not someone we were talking about earlier.
No, somebody that was being very lazy on defense.
Wow.
Shock. So, but and to nobody's surprise, Los Angeles won, and it was, I mean, the roster that they had was just, really in so many ways unfair. It's like, right. Oh my god,
but good for them.
Yeah, great. I'm glad that we have some chance for, obviously, most guys, you say, yeah, you want to come play in Los Angeles, they're gonna be like, hell yeah. But it was good in a lot of ways to see this a team, not Seattle, win. Thank God.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Right. I'm happy that we finally saw TMO in use. I hope that gets approved.
Keep it going.
Yeah, please. I know I was an asshole. I was an asshole about it on Twitter, but I'm not. But I don't think what I want and what I'm thinking is wrong. I think my delivery was just pretty terrible, which isn't shocking. It shouldn't shock anybody that's listened to me ever talk ever. So, yeah. So that was great. JP Doyle was a fucking gift from God. Oh my goodness, that guy was. Yeah,
thank you.
He was awesome. Yeah, thank you.
We don't find him redundant at all.
Yeah, thank you, RFU. You fucking idiots.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, I was really happy to have him, and he was such a personable guy too. So it was just like, this guy's just here to have fun, but he's doing us a great service by being here. So yeah, thanks JP Doyle and Mr. Anselmi as well. He was a boost to the refereeing stable here in the US. So and then and all the good things that have come of this, we see Vian Conradi getting the contract over in Gloucester, which is amazing, and he's projected to potentially start for Gloucester right now, probably as a 6. Wow. If I had to guess, because I think it'll be either Ackerman or Pelledri at 8.
They have injuries.
I don't know. They like what they saw of him.
Well, fuck. That says a lot, because they've got some. Hold on. I know we're not doing our whatever, but our Prem thing, but they've got a lot of fucking.
Yeah, they have some. They have
the back row. So good for him. I'm not trying to argue that he shouldn't start, but I'm more just confused. I was like, he would start. I see him being a pretty decent depth guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Especially when internationals come along, for sure.
Right.
So
yeah, because like Jordy Reed's there.
Yes.
Jordy and Lewis Ludlow and Ben Morgan and Jake Pelledri. I'm like, those 4 are probably your. And we saw what
Ben Morgan's getting older. I will say.
Yeah, he's got that piano back situation.
Yeah, he's there now. He's to that point, unfortunately.
But Seb Nagel Taylor too. Like they've got a solid Ron Ackerman, Freddie Clark. Fuck.
Yeah, but you don't want to play. You don't want to play all those guys every week either. So yeah.
Well, no, but that's like 8 guys that you can just rotate through. Fuck.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So good for them.
Good for him for being a part of it.
Yeah. Think about him, and he was supposed to be on Dallas.
Yeah.
Dallas folded for the year just to be like, nope, we're this is not the right decision. We're going to do next year. So
responsible.
That enabled those players to go wherever. And we were, our back rowers were in trouble because Jack Ram never arrived.
No.
Tarim Tembu took a while to get here.
I never really got going either.
Yeah. So,
but Conradi has been just,
and he was a blessing.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
He was necessary. He was such a good player.
So that's great. We see the coaches that are going elsewhere too. Ryan Martin's obviously off to Melbourne. Sad.
No.
Frig, the Galtinis, God damn it, why I can't think of his name. He's off to the Waratahs. So we've got, clearly we've found some decent coaches somewhere around here, which is good. We know the guys that are gonna never ever see the light of day once they have one season, but and we find somebody else. But at the same time, really good stuff for the most part, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm really, really happy that the guys that are getting opportunities got opportunities, and I hope that they all grab it with both hands and don't let go, and we never see them again. Just keep riding it, guys. You'll be good.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to be it's good to be a development league, right? If nothing else, too. Like if it's people who can prove themselves in the MLR and get contracts over in Europe and elsewhere, good. That just means that we're a legit league too, right? We're not there yet. We're not at those levels because obviously the players have to go there to get the money and the better competition. But that's we're on our way.
Yeah.
So
I'm enjoying it.
That's helpful to see. It's so much better than the previous shithousery
pro rugby shit bag that happened. Barf. So much crap. I mean, and so let's fast forward in the summer to TRC. Bledisloe Cup basically is the ones that I've watched all of them. I haven't watched any of the Argentina Springboks matches, and you can yell at me if you want. I don't care. I know the results, so it's not really a surprise. And it's just a little disappointing from the Australians the way they've gone about all three matches, and unfortunately, Lolosio has really had a tough time off the tee, and that's actually, I think that's
he has
one. Basically what it comes down to. I think he's a great 10. Keep him there. You need a 12 that can kick. You need a 15 that can kick is what it comes down to, because until he proves that he can do it off the tee, that's got to be somebody else's job. So, because he's great at wearing the 10 shirt otherwise. So, just get him away from the tee. That's all I would recommend.
Yeah. I mean, he's still young, pooping himself a little bit playing against the 80s.
I think so, yeah.
Like that's generally why teams do stuff like that, where they'll have like your Gloucester that'll have 12 trees kick instead of the 10 or something and stuff like that, where it's like, let's let the 10 do this, and because we're trying to bring him along and stuff like that, we'll have our grizzled veteran kicks. Probably would be a good option while Lolosio gets really used to playing at this level.
Yep, absolutely. And then so let's dive into it a little bit. Barrett's red card, I looked at naked eye and I was like, he's gonna be lucky if he stays on the field. Plain and simple.
Yeah,
that was just the answer to that one in general. As I watched it, I'm like, yep, won't be surprised if he's leaving. He's getting an early bath here.
Yeah,
sure enough, red card came out, and they went through the protocols in as it's written, and it's a boot to the face. I mean,
right,
really,
and it was it was an unnecessary action. The only reason to do that is to back another player off. So you are knowingly risking contact for just for a little bit of self-preservation in a way. Like I'd rather have this person take a boot to the face than me take a shoulder to the side while I'm landing or something. And it's like, okay, well, that's what happened. There you go.
That's your consequence.
That's
how it is.
Like, he was just standing there and said, but he still wasn't attacking, and you just kicked him in the face. Yeah, no, you're bye.
Corbett, you got the worst end of that one, obviously.
Right. And it's like, that's I woke up to all the tweets of like, that can't be a red. Like, this is no, of course it's a red. I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. Okay, well, let me see this. This must be on the line play. And I see the clip of it, and I'm like, what the fuck are these people talking about? That's red all day and blah blah blah.
Like I said, he would have been lucky to stay on the field.
Or the only way he stays on the field is if the ref totally cocks it up.
That would never happen in the Southern Hemisphere, would it?
Exactly.
Never ever in a million years would we have Ben O'Keefe, Jaco Piper, Jordan Way, just none of them would ever fuck that up, would they? Oh wait, they definitely
likely
have.
all of them would fuck it up. Like, and
they all definitely have.
That goes to the point. Yes, there's inconsistencies in international rugby because certain unions aren't consistent with the rules they follow. Like as you said, they went through. If you go through the protocol, straight red, no question, done. There's no mitigation. There's no anything. Just nope. Get out.
And even if you lay it down to and you relate it to tackle and just poor technique in the way he took the ball, doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything. It's still a red.
Right.
It's still a red. If you have a shit technique in tackling, you tackle somebody high, it's a red.
Right.
It doesn't change anything. It's still a red. And on purpose, dickhead or not.
Right.
Still a red. Like I love Jordy Barrett all day. Yeah. He's a hurricane. So duh, but that's a red. I was like, uh-oh. As soon as I saw it, I was like, he's not staying on this field. No way. No fucking way. And sure enough. So they got to the right point in the conclusion. And, I saw a headline, something about, 20-minute red card shows its value. I'm like, did you really think that was that borderline that you thought that showed value? Yeah. Because I disagree.
Right.
And no, like, thank God the 20 minutes is gone. Like, think about it this way, like, because we've put these laws, and I guess we'll just kind of move something forward here. We've put the laws in place that we have for the 1-year trial, which means it goes all the way down to club level. Like, I'm about to do that. Like, I'm about to do the goal line dropouts and the 50-22. You'll never see me do either one. But at the same time, like, that is going to occur in matches that I play in as a club guy. If that 20-minute red card was in effect, I can think of at least 10 dickheads that would take advantage of that.
Definitely.
So you don't want that on a World Rugby trial. Like, no, plain simple. Like, nah, sorry.
If you want to keep it if you want to leave it at the professional and international levels, first off, I don't like it, but
I don't either.
But fine, that's a decent compromise. But no, it's not something that's right.
No. That is not something that's going to sit in the World Rugby because, I mean, everybody listening to this right now can think of at least 2 dickheads that they played against that would absolutely 100% take advantage of that law. Plain and simple. And they would knock somebody out or break somebody. Yeah. And they wouldn't, the consequences would be so minor.
Right. There was a guy I played against who eventually, like, this was a guy who finally got banned from rugby for life.
There you go.
And at the Can-Am that followed that happening, it was like a couple of weeks later, one of my buddies brought champagne because like there were 4 of us that wanted to celebrate this asshole being banned. And like, he didn't tell us he was doing it. We were just like, yes, we are drinking to Jarhead being banned. Like, fuck yeah.
Fuck that dude.
He's a guy who, like, he needed to go. And he ended up actually putting, he punched this like 20-year-old kid like 3 times or something like that in a sevens tournament. Basically, and ended his career. He's got like a plate in his face now. All that shit.
Jesus.
Like, he can't play anymore. And the Jarhead was like 42, 43 at the time. And it's like,
old
fucks. It took that to ban him. Yeah. The guys like that would fucking love this law.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'm not really hurting my team, so fuck off. Yeah, I'm just gonna punch a guy for a minute straight until the referee.
You try and aim for somebody a player that's killing you.
Right.
It doesn't do much.
Gotcha.
No, it would be bad news all over. So thank God it's not in there. Thank God World Rugby did not want to trial it. Thank the fucking Lord. But yeah, so it's and it's a little bit. So to go to the All Blacks in their play, we see. The system that's worked for them forever. Now we know, if we want to get into the All Blacks a little bit, we know there's stuff going on behind the scenes that maybe wasn't at the forefront that it should have been. Shannon Frizzell, Sevu Reese. And that disappoints me greatly. They haven't picked Frizzell. So
they can't.
Step one. No, they can't. But like,
you can't leave the country.
No, but I don't think you could either. Like, I honestly, like, even for the match in New Zealand against the Australians, they didn't pick him.
Right.
So, hopefully that remains the same. And,
but here's the other thing. I was talking to Jess about this just yesterday too. How's Ioane doing at 6?
Oh, Rico? Oh,
Yeah.
he's great. He's been a beast.
So
He's been a monster.
to me, he's been better than Frizzell. So like,
Yeah, no, I mean,
you don't need to
he's
pick
made him
Frizzell, like,
obsolete.
right? You
Totally.
don't need, like, you're gone. I feel like Sevu Reese. I am to understand that there may be mitigating circumstances. I don't know, or that may, I don't know the full story. I hear he's been trying to make reparations
Mm-hmm.
and change, other people. I don't know enough to know.
Mm-hmm.
I still, but and yes, he is probably, or he would be one of the top 5 certainly wings alive today.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe just playing today.
Mm-hmm.
But the guys you would use to replace him would still be top 5 anyway.
Right.
So like,
Right.
you don't need these people. Like, you're going against what your core values are. No dickheads.
And
Well,
and somebody did write an
it.
article about how they've kind of lost their way from that, and
Yeah.
it is disappointing. So to say that, do I think? And you can rewind the clock to 2011, 2015, where they really they stayed pretty pat on those values and didn't budge from them, and they ended up with 2 World Cups.
Right.
And believe me, there were some guys they left out that didn't need to be left out.
Yep.
And it still worked. So, and that's, probably more to Wayne Smith and Graham Henry. But I think someone needs to hit Fozzie in the face and just be like, listen, this is what got it done.
Right.
Don't be afraid to stick to it.
Right.
And he's under pressure. So I get it. I get it. Like, a lot of people are expecting more out of the All Blacks. And last year, what little international there was not great.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't everybody's pick. Everybody wanted Scott Robertson. But they have their system that they've gone through for a long time. It's always gone from one assistant to the next that it gets passed down to. And they're still one of the best teams in the world, without a doubt. So you can't even deny that, like, oh, it doesn't work. Okay, cool. They're 2% percentage winning points off from what they usually are. Big fucking deal. Right. I'll trade you, please. Right. So yeah, I think, it's the same thing for everybody here. You're trying to win a fucking World Cup. You don't yes, international matches matter. You get money for wins, In the end, your aim is 2023 and making sure that you grab a hold of that trophy. Mm-hmm. So don't get all sidetracked over a couple matches.
Yeah.
Like, big picture, man. Like, last time I checked, that was the idea. And so many coaches, not just Fozzie, all of them seem to be, and I think Dave Rennie's kind of on the right track. At least he's got a lot of work to do. That's not his fault. All the coaches are just like so short term. I'm like, just open that screen up just a little bit bigger, buddy. You got a way bigger picture to look at than that. Like, would you rather give a shit about these 2 matches that, yes, they mean something to the country, they mean something to the fans, or would you rather be holding that trophy over your head come the final day in France? Mm-hmm. I think I choose the latter.
Yeah.
If it means, you bite the bullet on a match or 2, fuck it. Shit. People are just like, and you talk about people that are fucking spoiled. Good Lord. God almighty. Whew. Okay.
Right.
That's me.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. The pressure makes you do stupid shit. And that's problematic. That's why you want to have a coach who can be cool under that pressure. Let people lose their head. The coach is the one that has to keep it calm. That's your job, is to take that pressure ultimately. And so, yeah, like, don't pick a Shannon Frizzell. Don't pick a Sevu Reese. Are you going to get lambasted for it? Not so much, because it's like it's same thing as like a Lions tour. There's guys who are deserve it, and then there's guys who are on the bubble, and then there's like 30 or 40 guys in between that are like, oh, if you didn't trade them, okay, well, these other, okay, you got them, so whatever. Like, that you're not going to get that crushed. And I'm sorry, but taking Sevu Reese out there rather than, say, like a Will Jordan, or you put a Will Jordan out there instead of Sevu Reese, do you think you're going to get crushed? come
I
whatever
love
result.
I love Will Jordan. That kid is amazing and deserves so much more. And I know there's a lot more on deck for the kid, and I hope it all comes to fruition for him without a doubt. And if you were to drop several Reese and say you're picking Will Jordan, I would never bat an eye.
Yeah, if you had Will Jordan and Caleb Clark as your wings with Jordy Barrett back there, and going into a World Cup, those are your top three when you're playing a match you have to win, and you're playing an opponent who might actually beat you. Like nobody's gonna say boo.
That's not the weak point. Let's put it that way. That's not where you lose.
So, as you know, I whether it's fair or not to Sevu, I mean, it doesn't matter. But like he might be doing all sorts of good shit. Doesn't matter. You failed the standards.
Right. And at that point for somebody like that's as we've seen as it's been reported and been written, fucked up really badly. You have to almost just like really overcompensate for how much you're doing. You really have to swing that pendulum the other way to make people believe that was a one-time thing and that's an isolated incident and you are extremely regretful of it. And I could say a lot of other words for it there, but point being, you really need to swing that pendulum the other way before you even start being considered to be selected. That would be the way to go for me. That's where I'm at. Even
then, I think you're perfectly within your rights as that, if it depends on the situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it depends on if you're the Eagles and it's whether you like if we had Sevu Reese it was like, it's like, you know what? He's trying. Okay, I'll give him a pass. Like, yeah, he made a mistake. I'll give him a pass, but like, we kind of need him.
Right.
When you're the All Blacks and you are spoiled enough to be able to have standards.
Right.
Have your standards. I would love for the Eagles to have those standards. And I think they're getting Gary's working us towards that. But
I believe in Gary. Right. I believe in Gary. Let's duck into him real quick and crew. Extremely disappointing Rugby World Cup qualifier, America North. Extremely disappointing result for anybody that was wearing red, white, and blue, or anybody that's from the U.S. watching rugby. It can't be understated. It really can't be. The fact that we put 21 points on the board really is down to the first 10, 15 minutes where we played rugby.
Right. And had the wind. We used the wind.
Right.
Didn't really use it so much after that. Too much mauling. Way too much mauling. It was successful at points, but it's like one of those, okay, when it works, but like that doesn't mean that's the only thing you do.
When the lineup doesn't go to hell sometimes.
Right. And then here's what kills me. And it reminded me of my first couple of years playing Division III rugby. Shit ass rugby outside of PA, outside of Philly. Just because it was Division III, it was got a bunch of guys drinking and fucking around on the field. That was the last time I remember that many high balls just landing
on the grass,
bothering to catch it. And even then, our coach was fucking. It's true. Would give us all sorts of shit for it. It'd be like, somebody catch that fucking ball. Like. Something, just go and catch it. These guys are just kind of standing there like, well, it's not my job. I'm here to kind of, stay in my lane. It's like, no. Someone's job is to catch it. The wing or center or whoever the fuck, he's not there. So now it's your job. Like somebody get on it. Somebody say, you know what? This is our ball. I'm going to make sure we have it. Instead of, no, it bounced like 5 or 6 times. They kicked it high. Sometimes it was even deep and the wing would just be like, no, I'm not going to catch it. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? It's just those little, that right there was like, they're going to lose this match. I was like, that's it. That they're not showing the desire to either play rugby or to go get the ball.
No. Yeah. I mean, it was thing 1, thing 2, thing 3 for me. Like thing 1, the US played absolutely terribly, and the Canadians definitely showed more gusto than the US for sure.
Canada wanted it. Absolutely wanted
it. Thing 2 was the Canadian commentary was fucking awful. Those guys had no idea what they were talking about. Zero.
They were just super homers.
Super. I've not heard that kind of homer since Tommy Heinsohn. Like, oh my God. Like super homer. Good Lord. Scott Zolak's not that bad.
No, he's not.
Not saying a lot.
Right.
Like, holy shit, man. Like, that's bad. So And and not only that, they did not know what they were talking about.
No.
Like do you know how rugby works? Like the yellow card at the beginning, like they were bitching about it. I'm like, dude, it's a penalty try.
Right.
The law states if you give away a penalty try, the person that committed the infraction will be given a yellow card.
Right.
And there is it does not matter if it's minute 0 or minute 80.
And
how it is.
Pulled down a maul on their own try, like at their own goal line. Like not even like did the whole coming in from the side, like the maul kind of split off a little bit, and somebody came in from the side and basically grabbed one of the mauling players, not the ball carrier, but one of the guys in front of him, and just fucking took him down. Like the ref's obviously watching right there because the ball had just splintered, so there's not many people in that area. It's like, oh, no, you right there, I saw you do that. So card, all of it, like no hesitation whatsoever. He just ran. He didn't even watch to what happened. The outcome of that. As soon as it went down, he's like, nope, ran right to the stick.
Ran right to the center.
Yeah, that's a yellow card. Get the fuck out.
And then I just wish the European rugby had sent to somebody better than Mike Adamson. Like there are a lot of referees I would have taken from Europe over him. So next time, can you send something better, please? Like, God, I would have taken Andrew Brace.
Yeah,
and he's fucked up quite a bit, but Mike Adamson's not a good referee. Like,
no,
he's not even the best referee in Scotland. Like, let's be real. So.
I mean, like, it takes some work that the fact that the U.S. was the worst group on the field between the Canadians, the officials, the announcers, and the US. The US were the worst.
So that speaks to that, and
that's saying a lot because the only group there that I have anything positive to say about is the Canadians.
The Canadian players.
Full credit to them. They showed up. They wanted to play. They did what they had to do to win. They did winning things, and the US did losing things. Not catching a high ball. That's
pretty basic
maneuver right there.
13 points going back to Glendale this weekend. We'll see how it goes. Fingers crossed, man. Just need 2 tries and 2 converted try advantage. Hopefully we can do it. And Gary Gold's fired some rockets up some bums. We also didn't start all our European talent. Most of it was on the bench.
Right.
So hopefully that means AJ starts. Anu seems to be just an injury waiting to happen, so I'm done with him. It's too bad Montpellier didn't release TT. We could have used him.
Really could.
So we'll see what happens. We get line out went all dysfunctional and shit, so that's not that was a killer right there. But Gary was not happy, and like we talked about how he was a little disappointed with the way we played against England, which we played very well. Like imagine that, and then imagine how mad he was about how the way we played this match. He was very unhappy. He was. I take it that nobody had eardrums after that in that locker room, because he was probably pretty fucking pissed. If I were him, at least.
I was not.
And I'm not a yeller to my kids, so if he is, look out.
And I don't think I don't feel like the good rugby coaches are.
No, they usually aren't.
So it's nice.
They usually let the captains do it.
Yeah, and then you get quiet. You just be like, "Look, this is this is unacceptable." And you gotta challenge the players and whatnot. But it's got to come from a place of calm, because fuck, obviously,
it was poor. It was very poor.
It was so poor.
It was so fucking poor.
So, just like that's what comes with having a national team that you actually kind of start to like. Like they were
prepared to be disappointed somewhere.
Right. Like I also didn't root against them the way that I have previous Eagles teams with like Tolkien at the helm, when they're just,
oh God, Quill on the side.
Yeah. These guys are like, they just pooped terribly. Like, it's not like but they weren't dickheads about it. Like, it wasn't like Quill getting a red card at the World Cup. Sent home because he's an asshole because they're losing. Like, it was just, you guys are fucking knuckleheads out there, being all Ralph Wiggum and shit. And so it's like, sort yourselves out. But I want to see you do well.
Yeah, we don't want to. As much as I had confidence in us being Canada this time, should the worst happen, I think we'll be okay against Chile. I hope. Jesus.
Yeah.
And then that'll bring us back to getting the second place for the Americas, which will be the loser of Uruguay and Canada. So, but fingers crossed that we don't need to even get there, and we can just get a 14-point win and be done.
Yeah.
I think if it's a tie, it's whoever got the most tries. So.
Oh, either way.
Yeah, keep it going, boys. Let's go. Get it going. 14-0 win. Done. Get on with it.
Although, if you want to blow them out, that would be fine too.
Oh, I wouldn't be sad about that at all.
They should have. Or they should. Maybe that wind, it might be hard to blow anybody out, but
yeah, but they'll be in Colorado this time. So
yeah, so the altitude will be fun.
Yep. Yeah. Godspeed to everybody out there. Wayne Barnes, eat your heart out, man. Poor guy. He's huffing and puffing in that Lions warm-up match.
Yeah.
Oh man, poor fella. He didn't know what he got himself into.
No, I left his wife gave him the business on the Twitter.
Oh, I loved it. She's a great follow. She is a great follow. If you're not following Polly Barnes, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, you are doing it wrong.
Oh, okay. So we've chewed your ear off for about 55 minutes or so. So we're back. If you haven't noticed, make sure that you grab your TRM upgrades. Buy Georgia coffee. Get ready. Keep your eyes peeled for some Patreon if you want to contribute to us. We will have cheap options if you want to contribute to us. So
sure,
if you're cheap if you're cheap like Ben and I, we'll have some options for you to contribute. $1 or $2.
Our self-esteem is not that high that we are going to ask for an arm and a leg.
Nope, not even close. Not even close. So
we see that for our OnlyFans.
But yeah, we're happy to be back. I hope everybody is ready to hold on to your seats here, because this should be an interesting one. We got a full year of rugby. We're not starting in November like we did last year.
Mm-hmm.
So we got all that. We got a full European competition coming through here, which hopefully will not get its ass bit off by COVID. So we'll see. Next week we're talking Prem. We're talking Fantasy Prem. We're talking Saracens. Yes.
Who?
They're back.
Huh?
Those fucking guys.
I seem to remember some.
Yeah. Oh, trust me. I'm sure they're going to be reminding everybody that who they were. Although the challenge right off the bat's pretty cool. They get to go to Bristol and get Ashton Gate. That should be a fun match. But anyway, we'll get to that next week. We appreciate you all for hanging out with us and coming back for more. Fantasy Rugby Podcast at gmail.com if you want to comment, ask questions, whatever. Follow Ben and I on Twitter. If you don't know where we're at, you'll figure it out. I promise. It's in the show notes, so that's the one place you can find it. We will catch you guys next week. We really, really are happy to be back, and I hope you guys are ready for a fun one. Have a good one, everybody.
Later.
Cheers.